Hey everyone, and welcome to 1.21 Movie News. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about this week's movie news. That's better.
Shambles.
I'll live with that one.
Shambles.
I can live with that one. That was fine. That was take 2 of the opening, by the way, for everyone. I because we've kind of slightly retitled this, I have no idea how to intro it anymore. It's weird. I'm so used to having a set thing that I just fire through that changing any of it just is like, whoa, what's happening? Headlights.
Shambles.
But yeah, so what we do in this show is we look at the movie weekend's box office. We talk about movie news, including casting updates and big bits of news from comic book movies and horror movies, all that kind of thing. And then at the end of the show, if we've got any movies that we watched that we didn't review, that we weren't for review purposes, that were just casual watches, we might talk about those. And Connor's a dick and watched like 6 of them this week, so he's going to draw the length of this out.
I had a week off work. What do you want me to say?
Just let them go. It doesn't really matter.
You'd put them in. It was you.
Now I've started doing solo reviews for things that I watched. I don't do
Yeah,
anything.
and you went 40 minutes on the last one.
Well, you didn't have to sit through that though, so that was me being considerate.
Not really. There's a 40 minute. I'm going to be less than 40 minutes on all 6 of these.
I bloody hope so. Going to sleep during that section. Anyway, so welcome to the show. We start off with box office. We did make some guesses last week, although I do have to confess a bit of a blunder with the guesses last week. So looking at the release schedule for the following week on Box Office Mojo, so that we can guess a couple of the big things coming out. I only looked at Friday and didn't really look at the thing that was coming out like on the Wednesday or the Thursday. I didn't notice there was a Wednesday or Thursday thing coming out. So, despite the fact that it was the opening weekend for Alita Battle Angel, we didn't make any guesses for Alita Battle Angel.
Do you know what's really particularly annoying about this? And particularly shambolic? Didn't Happy Death Day 2 come out on the Wednesday or Thursday?
Oh, you're right, it did. I just knew that was coming out, though. I remembered that was coming out.
No excuses.
Maybe it was the opposite. Maybe that and Isn't It Romantic were both out on the Wednesday, and I didn't realise that that wasn't the Friday. I didn't realise that there was another day to look at.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I think that must have been what it was being.
That's more likely, because they came out for Valentine's.
Yeah, because there's no way in hell I just remembered Isn't It Romantic was coming out. So
Shambles.
I will take the heat on that. We didn't make any guesses for Alita. That's my bad. But we did guess for Happy Death Day to You and Isn't It Romantic. So, weekend box office then. Number 1 was Alita Battle Angel with 27.8 million.
Out of interest, what did we guess for the other ones?
We're both under that for both.
Okay.
I know that's what you wanted to know, so I'm not going to...
It was, because I can't remember how high we went with some of them.
So... I was expecting this to kind of bomb, and that kind of is a bomb, but it's not as diabolically bombing as I thought it might be.
How's it doing worldwide, though? Because it might have a reasonable reaction worldwide.
Worldwide, it's made 130 million.
See, that's not too bad.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see.
I don't know what its budget is. Probably quite a bit by the look of it, but I mean...
170.
Yeah, okay.
Here's a question, though. Has it come out in China yet? It doesn't appear to have come out in China. No, it's not. 22nd it's out in China.
Ah, that's fine then.
Well, assuming it's a hit in China. But
yeah.
It seems like a China-friendly movie, but I mean...
Yeah, unpredictable Chinese market.
They are unpredictable. So that's Alita. Number 2 is Lego Movie 2, the second part, with 21.2 million, which... is an impressive enough hold. It was a really disappointing opening weekend, so it's not that impressive, but it didn't go down too much.
No, I think they'll be happier with its second weekend, because yes, it underperformed, but they probably would have expected it to drop to around this, even if it hit their target of the first week. So on that, it's kind of all right.
Number 3 Isn't It Romantic, with 14.2 million.
And what did we guess for that?
You guessed 23.
Okay.
I guessed 15. I'm proud of that point. That was really close.
Yes, but I suspect that means I won on the other movie.
No, I've got a decimal in there. I'd actually still lose probably, but I'd be closer if there was a decimal. Number 4 is What Men Want with 10.9 million. Number 5 is Happy Death Day to You with 9.8. You guess 13, you win.
What did you guess?
Yes, 25. Which, to be fair, was really close to what the first one made. So it is down from the first one. However, it is worth mentioning that this movie had a $9 million budget and has made, like 25 worldwide so far.
Yeah, so it's not a bomb.
It's not even close to a bomb. This is fine
no.
for this movie. It's just not as big as the first one.
It's still disappointing though, isn't it, for them?
I don't know. It depends what they were expecting. I don't know what they were expecting.
I think disappointing in the sense that, the first one did really quite well, and they're like, oh, we want to try and get close.
Here's the thing, though. I have to question something here. The first one came out in October. This one came out in February. Now, I know they tried to tie it into Valentine's Day with the marketing, but I have to wonder.
Probably hurt it.
That's probably why it's down a bit, if not the whole reason. So,
yeah.
That said, though, they want to do a third one, and I feel like this is still going to make enough.
That's probably enough to do a third one. Yeah,
they're still going to do it. Like, I feel like Blumhouse have made an empire on low budgets and big returns, and this will still relatively.
This is fine. It's
be a
still,
big return.
If this was the first movie, we'd be saying, yeah, this is pretty solid. Based on its budget and how it's done, we'd go, yeah, that's a success. It's only disappointing in context.
I'd argue that it's not disappointing in context, though.
I think it is. I think to have that significant a drop from the first one.
No, but in the context of A, when it's released, B, the type of movie it is, C, what the budget is, the only thing that makes this look disappointing is that the first one made more.
Yeah, so expectations are higher. It not that it needs to exceed it, but I think they expect it to do better than this based on how well the first one went. I really do think that.
Yeah, if they'd released it in October and they did this, I would agree with this.
Well, yeah, any horror movie released in October and only getting this is disappointing.
I'm sure I can find some shite that
I'm sure you can
disagree with that, but yeah. So it's less than the first one, but I actually think it's probably fine. Also, actually, wait a minute. This doesn't seem to include the Wednesday numbers. It doesn't.
Did it come out the Wednesday or did it come out the Thursday?
It came out the Wednesday.
Okay.
Because the total gross is 3.5. I always assumed they include the Wednesday numbers for these opening weekends that opened on a Wednesday, but seemingly not.
Okay, so do we know what the Wednesday figures were so that we can just add it up ourselves?
Well, it gives me a total. It's only been out since Wednesday.
Okay.
That goes up to the end of Sunday, so.
All right, what's the total then?
13.5.
All right, so it's a little bit better. Wait, what did I guess?
13.
I'll take it.
No, that was for opening weekend. This is not opening weekend.
No, you were counting the Wednesday in your guess as well. You literally just said you always thought it counted the Wednesday as well.
Shut up. Look. Shut up. So, which notably actually brings Elite up to 36.5 million. So that's
less disappointing.
Yeah. And isn't it romantic? That goes from 14 to 20. So,
which is closer to my guess now.
Yeah, but we're going by their weekend numbers. We're not.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
Going by the reality.
No.
I'm having none of this.
We guessed opening weekend. We did not guess anything else. We have
Wednesday
never.
Is opening weekend. We both know it.
No. We have never done this before. We've looked at what the total is for the Sunday, and then and added in the Wednesday. Never have we done this before.
Well, maybe we should. So this is a bullshit system otherwise.
No, only because it happens to help you this one particular week.
No. Opening weekend is opening till the Sunday. That's it. If otherwise you have to count the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Really, it's the 3 days. I wouldn't count it otherwise, because it's its first 3 days is the point of the opening weekend, right? The Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's the point of what we're measuring.
Not really, because the reason why we go by opening weekend is because more people go on Friday, Saturdays to movies.
They do, yeah.
So
they do.
So if you actually did that, it would probably actually be a lower total because.
No, it would be a lower total.
So yeah.
But either way, this is why we should count the Wednesdays.
No, that was 1 point each this week, so deal with it.
It was 2 for me, and you. The audience knows it.
Number 6 is Cold Pursuit.
Who cares about the rest of
with
this?
6 million. Always in the top 10. Shut up. Number 7 was The Upside with 5.5 million. Number 8 was Glass with 3.8 million. Number 9 was The Prodigy with 3.1 million. And number 10 was Green Book with 2.7 million. There's your top 10. So, for next week's guesses, though.
Yeah, and we have to guess 2 weeks, right?
Oh, we do. That's a good point, yeah. Because we won't have a movie news next week because Connor's on vacation. Yes.
Yeah. I'm away.
On the upside, though, we're doing our movie awards next week, so you're getting 2 lengthy movie award videos, so you get something instead.
You're getting something, yeah.
And Matt will be on those as well. So for next week, let me just make a new thing with our names, and then so we got How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World,
Okay.
and then we also have A Medea Family Funeral.
I don't even know what that is.
Tyler Perry. He's like an old woman.
I've literally never heard of this movie.
I'd never heard of it until a couple of years ago, but there's like 10 of these damn things. They've been going for like 20 years.
What?
And they're released like, I think always around the same time, maybe? I don't know.
How have I not heard of this?
I felt the same way when I discovered it. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, they're always out. Oh, no, wait, that's not next week.
Oh, for shambles.
That's for the second week. Sorry, that's for the second week. I'll just put a line here. That's for the following week. And that's accompanied by Greta. Which is Chloe Moretz.
Right, okay.
And Mika Monroe. I don't actually remember it, but I do remember that we watched a trailer for it. It's labeled as a drama thriller. I recall this existing.
I know what one this is. This is the one where she finds the phone or whatever it was and returns it to the older woman.
Oh, yes.
It's that one.
That's the one. There you go. All right, so we got 1 for next weekend, and then we got 2 for the following week. So, How to Train Your Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon, the Hidden World.
It's gonna be a long show, isn't it?
Here be dragons.
I'm going 40.
You're going 40. I'm going 42.
Oh. Feel like you might have won that one, to be honest.
It just has to beat yours.
Yeah.
If it's 41 or above, I win.
I suspect you may have won that one.
All right, but at a more interesting guess, A Medea Family Funeral.
I have no expectations.
Which I believe this is the epic conclusion to the saga.
6 million. I don't know. I don't know what these things make. Never even heard of them till 2 minutes ago.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to go to Wiki.
Oh God. Oh, hang on. Put your guess first.
Oh no, I'm not looking up guesses. I'm just looking to see how many there is.
Oh, okay. I thought you were looking up the previous box offices.
Medea movies.
I don't understand how I've never heard of them before.
Films. Right. First one was in 2005.
Okay. So, more like 15 years rather than 20, but, I'll let it slide.
I was ballparking from memory, right? It's like I'm an expert. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the 11th.
11 films in 14 years.
Yes. Almost yearly.
Christ.
Do you want to hear the titles for these films?
No, I don't. I want to hear your guess.
All right. I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to say 10.
Fair enough. You might be right. I have no idea.
There's an audience. They've made 11 of them. There's an audience somewhere for them.
Sure.
All right. Greta, though.
I think an underperform. About 8.5.
Is that
Going with the
underperforming
decimal.
for that, though?
I don't know. I think with Moretz there, I think they're attempting to push it into a higher profile.
Okay. I'm going to guess 7.
Fair enough.
Basically, I'm just guessing, is it lower or higher than what Connor said? And then
Yeah, you've been
picking
a
my
bit of a
side.
dick this time.
Yeah. I mean, if I have a genuinely, I feel strongly it's going to hit this number, I'll do it. But with these ones, it's just like, I'll just, 50-50. Ballpark it. Fine.
It's been a dick.
Alright, that's the box office, which means we can go on to the movie news. Kind of a weird week for news this week. Not a lot of horror stuff at the end, just the one horror story. And we do have some comic stuff, but they're mostly, non-big, DC Marvel stuff.
What you're saying is it's not really that interesting.
That's not what I'm saying. So the first one is kind of DC related though, in part, because we're getting an animated Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah, it's cool.
Based on the book of the same name. So I read this book actually. There was a sequel, and they're doing a third one soon, which is wrapping up the trilogy. So they might end up adapting the second two as well if this goes well. But this is a collaboration between DC and Nickelodeon. It's releasing in the spring apparently. They've not said what animation studio was doing it yet, but Troy Baker's
this spring.
This spring, yeah. Troy Baker's going to... Troy Baker, Jesus Christ.
God's sake, this is atrocious. That's not like that's a name you know.
Troy Baker is going to be playing both Batman and Joker.
I mean, he has voiced both in the past.
He has. It notes here that he's voiced both in the past, but never on the same project.
Yeah.
So, go for it, I guess. I enjoyed the comic book. If you grew up in the 90s with Batman animated series and the Turtles cartoon, this will hit some nostalgia points, and it kind of merges them together in a way that feels as natural as it could be. So,
sure.
You all know you want to see Ra's al Ghul and Shredder team up.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah. And we typically review the animated DC movies. I feel like this will be no exception. So.
Yeah, we'll probably just throw it in. Why not?
Yeah. Next up, so we're in the comic movie news section still. Sebastian Stan is going to replace Chris Evans.
Okay. In.
In The Devil All the Time, which is a Antonio Campos directed drama, Evans had to drop out due to scheduling. But you have to admit this was a funny way to start this story, because
is this actually in a comic book?
Yes, it is. No, actually, this is based on a comic. But
okay.
It's just really funny to me because obviously we're all expecting maybe Bucky will replace Cap as Captain America later in the movies.
Yeah,
it's really funny. So The Devil All the Time is an adaptation of the Donald Ray Pollock's 2011 Midwestern. Oh no, it's not. This was me misreading something earlier. I thought I read the word graphic novel, and because you know how they often use graphic novels in a comic book.
It just says novel, doesn't it?
No, it says gothic novel.
You're a bloody idiot. Shambles, start to finish. It was a shambles before we even started. You put it in the wrong bloody section.
Joe's fine. As I read the start of this story, and I said, "Oh, that's really funny because of we're expecting to replace Chris Evans." And then I read the actual description, and I think my brain wanted to see graphic novel, so it was even funnier because it was a comic book thing. And here we are. I'll just finish. I'm not going to move it now. Like, here it is.
Oh, you're the worst.
So it's a graphic novel that Antonio and Apollo Campos co-scripted. And the forgotten backwoods of a place called the Knock'em Stiff. That's right. Knock'em Stiff, Ohio. A storm of faith, violence, and redemption brews. Out of desperation to save his dying wife, Willard Russell turns to prayer, which succumbs to sacrifice. This sets our protagonist Arvin, Willard's son, on his path from bullied kid to a man who knows when to take action. He interacts with the nefarious cast of characters, a serial killer couple, a faith-testing preacher, and a corrupt local sheriff in a story that is told across 2 decades.
I mean, it sounds fine.
Mm-hmm.
The most interesting thing was the start replacement.
Yes. That was the funny part, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I concur. Alright. Next up. This is a comic book thing.
You sure?
I promise. It's called Kill Them All. Paramount are developing an adaptation of it. The comic's by Kyle Starks, and it pays tribute to the action movies of the 1990s. Writer James Coyne will be adapting the book for the screen. Kill Them All tells of a betrayed murderess on a revenge streak and a hard-drinking former cop who, to get what they want, team up to take down a crime lord. The latter is atop a 15-story Miami high-rise, so the duo go floor by floor, cutting through assassins, murderers, luchador gang bosses, ex-boyfriends, and office workers. If the base quality of this is good enough, I will love this movie.
Yeah. It says it's about 90s action movies, and that doesn't, for me, I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm not particularly into that.
Nor am I. I mean, obviously, Die Hard's the thing that comes to mind, which is not a 90s movie, but it was at the end of these. I think the reason why they're saying 90s here is because all the Die Hard knockoffs came in the 90s.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see. We'll see on this one. I'm cautious.
If this has the right sense of humour or the right style, I could see.
I think a lot of this comes down to direction, to be honest.
It does. And probably the charm of the two main characters, I think. I could love this, but again, it could also sink on some of the things I've mentioned. So, last up in the comic book section, that was kind of the comic book section. So, Red Sonja, which Millennium Films were supposed to be developing with Bryan Singer directing. And just a few weeks ago, the CEO of Millennium Films was like, no, we trust in Bryan Singer. They've put the film on hold. And while they've not outright said, I don't think, that it's because of Singer, there's a lot of
assumption.
It's not even just assumption. There's a lot of things that they actually said where the CEO was like, I'm rethinking my thoughts and what I said a few weeks ago. There's a lot of really direct things that kind of line up with, maybe going forward with him as the director is not the best idea right now. So it's worth mentioning, since that he said that, there was another whole big expose about accusations on Singer. So
yes, which I think at the moment he's still just outright denying everything.
Oh, he's denied everything. He's denied everything for the last 10 years of these accusations.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just slight to some of the others who apologized, right, and admitted to at least some level of it. Whereas this is outright no, absolute denial.
I mean,
I'm not saying I believe him. I'm saying...
See, here's the thing, though. I wouldn't believe him anyway, I don't think. But I think what's really telling here is what he's been accused of is a lot more specific than other people. He's been outright accused of assaulting underage boys. So that is directly what he's been accused of. So no shit, he's denying it, I guess, is basically my response to that. But
I mean, I want to say no shit, but Kevin Spacey didn't exactly deny it, did he?
I feel like that's more him being an idiot. He thought he could
twist it somehow.
Yeah, he thought he could sneak his way out of it by
I'm not sure what he was thinking there.
Yeah, he thought he could game the system.
Yeah, that was weird.
So Red Sonja is on hold. I assume they'll probably continue it soonish, but with another director on board.
Yeah, we'll probably hear something in about 6 months' time.
I feel that's a good one to get a woman director on for.
I feel like you probably should.
I feel like, given that Red Sonja is traditionally a very scantily clad character, getting that perspective to make it work would probably be the best idea.
Yeah, probably.
But hey. So on to the main sort of blockbuster section of the show. First up, Sony Pictures is got Phil Lord and Chris Miller. They've snatched up the rights for their next project. It's a package that was sold for a ridiculous amount of money this past week. We don't know the exact amount, but we're hearing 8 figures, and it's called Last Human. Oh,
that's a lot.
Yeah. It's called Last Human. Apparently, Universal, Warner Brothers, Netflix, MGM, Paramount, New Regency, and MRC were all bidding. Notably, the only major player that wasn't was Disney, who, of course, had to fire them.
We don't need it. Yeah.
Well, no, I think it's that. I think it's because they had this rough relationship with Solo.
Yeah, see that. I don't think that excludes them working with them again. I think it was specifically on one of their franchise. They'll never get a job at like Marvel or Star Wars again because they have too much. They want too much control over that. I think if it's just it's a film, I think the directors tend to have a bit more freedom.
I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But even the articles I was reading about this were pointing that out. That Disney were notably absent and noted the history.
I mean, maybe look. This could be me. I don't think that is how it works. But I mean, I could be wrong.
I think it's less about how it works and more just it's relatively still quite soon after that as well. Like, I don't necessarily think they're going to like blackball them forever, but like,
No.
So yeah, Lord and Miller are going to be directing this, and it's a film called Last Human, which is based on the upcoming children's book of the same name by Lee Bacon. Lee Bacon.
Bacon.
So Shazam writer Henry Gayden is going to be writing the script, and it's set after a robot apocalypse, and it follows a 12-year-old robot who bonds with a 12-year-old human who has lived in the underground bunker for his whole life. The film is being eyed as a reverse E.T. in which 3 robots discover and protect a human child. It'll be Lord Miller's next film after they finish Artemis at Fox.
Cool. I like Lord and Miller. Sounds cool. Sounds like their sort of film.
I typically do like Lord and Miller, and I like the concept. So yeah, I have.
I suspect I will enjoy this movie.
Yep. So here's something that I know you care about.
What is it?
This is the way you responded to that. I'm like, why don't you trust me? Why don't you trust me this is actually something you're going to care about?
Because no, there's 2 options here. It's something I do care about, and you're going to shit all over it. or you're just being a dick, and you know I don't give a shit about whatever this is, or actively dislike it.
Alright, so Bad Robot, Paramount, and Toho are working together on a remake of Your Name.
Okay.
Live action, naturally. Mark Webb has been attached to direct it.
I mean, not the best director, is he?
Well, his film before Spider-Man was not bad.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, he's competent, but it's not like, oh yeah, that's who I want.
Yeah, so this is an animated film from Japan, from 2016. In this reimagined version, a young Native American woman living in a rural area and a young man from Chicago discover they are magically and intermittently swapping bodies. When a disaster threatens to upend their lives, they must journey to meet and save their worlds.
Yeah.
Does that sound like the premise of the original?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
There is city boy, village girl.
You thought I was going to shit on whatever this was. I have nothing to say about it.
Okay.
I just knew you liked it.
I do, yeah. I'm cautious. It's one of those of why, right? With a lot of remakes of foreign language movies, I think we feel pretty similar on most of those as to why. Why not just watch the original one, right? It could be all right. We'll see. But we'll just we'll watch the original soon. We'll do a review of that.
Yeah.
Right, because you might actually like this one. That doesn't sound too far out there for your tastes.
You've been trying to make me watch that movie for a while.
Because it's really damn good.
For some reason, I thought it was an anthology. I don't know why.
You're thinking of the one that was on Netflix like early last year.
Okay. Anyway, on to some more interesting things. Dune. We have some casting. We also have a release date that's been put in. So the release date is going to be November 20th, 2020. So
it's actually further out than I expected it to be.
20th of 2020. So, I mean, they've got a 2020 thing going there.
Yeah.
So that's not bad.
Yeah.
If anything, they should have aimed for February.
Yeah, I get that.
Really
2-2. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what's going to come out. And the 2 cast members they've added this week are Jason Momoa and Josh Brolin.
Both solid.
Yeah.
I like both of them to varying degrees.
Yeah, Momoa will play Duncan Idaho, and sorry, that's Momoa's playing Duncan Idaho. Sorry, and Josh Brolin is going to play Gurney Halleck. So,
okay.
not that I really remember who those characters are from when I watched the David Lynch movie.
Yeah, I don't remember who was. If you told me, oh, that was that guy, sure, but not by the names.
So just to sum up here, they are joining Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Dave Bautista, Stellan Skarsgård, Charlotte Rampling, and Javier Bardem in the film by Denis Villeneuve.
A hell of a cast.
That's a hell of a cast. I am optimistic about this.
I am so intrigued as to how they're going to market this, because obviously, Blade Runner 2049 didn't do amazingly.
No. Because I feel like what the studio wants to market is like some sort of space epic, right? They want to say, hey, you like Star Wars and that shit? Here, Dune.
Yeah, probably.
But is
But
that
is
what it's
that
going
the
to feel
movie
like?
that we're gonna get?
Yeah. And I'm on the record as really quite liking David Lynch's movie, even though it is a mess, but it's a beautiful, glorious mess.
Yeah, I get that.
But hey, so yeah, that's Dune. And then speaking of release dates, Paramount have set a release date for Coming to America 2, which really should just be called Coming and then the number 2 America, right?
It
That's what you
really
call it.
should. Yeah,
Uh,
maybe it will be that close
yeah,
to the time.
yeah. I think technically it's untitled right now. They're just calling it, Coming to
See,
America
an
2.
Untitled Coming to
Yeah,
America sequel. Yeah.
yeah. So that's going to come out August 7th, 2020. So Eddie Murphy's coming back to reprise his roles of Akeem, the pampered African prince who became bored of potential marriage partners in his kingdom, two in all of them. And he travelled to Queens to go undercover and find a strong-willed woman he could respect.
Cool. Sounds like it really needs a sequel.
It does sound a little dated in some ways, doesn't it? When you read that description, yeah. It sounds a little bit dated.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm putting that lightly. I've seen the original. It's just I remember thinking it was okay, but I was never in love with it as a kid.
No, I never saw it.
I liked the Beverly Hills Cop movies a lot as a kid. I just thought they still do. I mean, 1 and 2 are solid movies, but Coming to America was never something I really loved as a kid. Trading Places were a bit better, but again, I wasn't in love with it. I mean, some people love that movie, and I think it was solid, but hey, some people are probably excited about that. So, interesting that even Eddie Murphy's doing the nostalgic coming back. It's like Beverly Hills Cop 4 fell through, so
that'll do. Yeah,
let's do Coming to America too. Next up, Chris Pratt is negotiating to star in a film called Ghost Draft, which might be a big tentpole for Skydance Media. Chris McKay, the Lego Batman director, who's supposedly doing Nightwing.
Sure, yeah.
At some point.
Allegedly.
Yes, even though he's gearing this up. Which it says here is going to be fast-tracked and will begin production this summer. So it's been in development at Skydance for several years. It was a deal made with its writer, Zach Dean. Here's the log line. A husband and father is drafted to fight in a future war which the fate of humanity may rely on his ability to correct issues of the past. So, goes to the war to fight a future. Goes to the future to fight a war.
Shambles.
You've signed up for it this week, folks.
This might be the most shambolic episode we've ever had.
It sounds okay.
Yeah, it does. It sounds fine. It sounds like Chris Pratt is ideal.
Mm-hmm. I like sci-fi movies, and if this is hopefully works out better than Passengers did, because Passengers was a movie when I read the description, I thought this sounds really good.
Had so much potential.
It had so much potential. I was getting like a almost before sunrise on a spaceship kind of vibe from it, and the thing, and then it was okay, and then it made things weird.
Yeah.
That was basically my analysis of that film. So next up, we're back to Chris Evans. Actually, he's probably part of why he had to drop out of our film.
Yeah. See, if you'd read the last one properly, you'd have put these back to back as a nice segue.
I would have done. In fact, I think I was almost going to until I thought I read the word graphic novel on the other one. So he's signing up for Anton Fuqua's next film called The Reincarnationist Papers. It's based on a novel by D. Eric Makrans. The novel revolves around Evan Michaels, a man who is haunted by memories of 2 past lives and stumbles upon centuries-old secret society of similar individuals who make up the Cognomia.
It's a hell of a word, but okay.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the G's might be silent, like Conomia.
I'd say no, because it sounds more like cognitive.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a secret society of people who possess total recall of their past lives and whose members have been agents of change throughout history. He seeks to join their ranks. It's an interesting premise.
It is, yeah. I'm down for that.
Yeah. There you go. Title's a bit of a mouthful.
What was the title again?
The Reincarnationist Papers.
Yeah, that is a mouthful.
But yeah, it sounds okay.
I'd just drop the papers. Just the Reincarnationist.
Yeah, that sounds alright. Or you have to change it to the Reincarnation Papers, and that sounds okay.
Yeah.
But you can't have both. I feel like it's a bit too clunky. Next up, Entertainment 360, a television studio formed by Management 360 and MRC, have acquired the film and television rights to Sanctuary, a novel by V.V. James. The book will be published on August 8th, 2019. So we're seeing a lot of this. We talk about this a lot in both the movie and TV news, where books aren't even out yet and they're already being optioned.
This is earlier than usual, though. It's usually, they're out in the next month or two.
So Sanctuary is about 4 women with a dark secret, and the death that unravels their lives. The death of a town's star quarterback marks the beginning of a gripping investigation, one that unfolds in the public eye because the accused is the daughter of a local witch. See, I just got more interested.
Yeah, up till then I was like, yeah, okay, it's a thriller.
The story evolves into something truly unsettling, an incisive, thought-provoking spotlight on blame culture and the dangers of weaponized mob mentality, a terrifying reflection of our current times. So that definitely got a lot more interest in the second half.
Yeah, with strong direction, I could really like this.
Yeah. So I mean,
And
obviously,
a tight script.
we have no creative talent yet as to who's going to be making it, but
Oh.
certainly intrigued by the premise and the film that could result from it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah. So next up, Netflix has obtained the global distribution rights, excluding China, to the Red Sea Diving Resort. Oh. I should
Tell me this isn't comic book news.
No, it isn't, but I should have maybe put it up one up.
Why?
It's starring Chris Evans.
Oh, for God's sake. You could have had a trilogy of Chris Evans stories, and you butchered it. You just ruined the whole thing. Oh, shambles.
Chris Evans is starring. It's a biopic from writer-director Gideon Raff. The film, which Netflix will release later this year, is based on one of the most remarkable rescue missions in history. The film follows a group of Mossad agents and Ethiopians who, in the early 80s, used a deserted holiday retreat in Sudan as a front to smuggle thousands of refugees to Israel. Chris Evans plays Ari Kidron, the Mossad agent who leads the mission together with the courageous local Keberi Bimro, played by Michael Kenneth Williams, who I like as well, actually. He's also good.
Yeah, it's a good cast.
But Netflix have got it, which makes me concerned that it won't be as good as the potential would have you believe.
Yeah, that does tend to always be the case, doesn't it?
Yeah, there have been a few disappointing Netflix movies.
You get like 1 or 2 a year, though, that you're like, yeah, that one's pretty good.
But then there's a lot that seem like they should be good, and then you watch them and it's like, this is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Netflix has really mastered the art of a 6 out of 10.
In movies, yeah. Its TV department is
better.
killing.
Yeah, TV's much better, but movies really mastered the art of the 6 out of 10. There's exceptions, obviously, but you know.
Generally speaking, yeah.
Next up, Ava DuVernay's Array Releasing has got a latest acquisition. It's called The Burial of Kojo, from musical artist and filmmaker Samuel Blitz Bazawil. So they've acquired the distribution rights for a bunch of countries, and it'll debut again on Netflix on March 31st within those countries, which is it's US, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand. So most of the main English-speaking places. And I forgive anyone who's also an English-speaking country who I did not mention there. I apologise for not counting you.
You said most.
I did say most, but those are the ones that I would name, though. Those would be the countries that I would name. If you said, name like 5 countries that speak English, they'd be like, those were the ones. Was that 5? It was 5. Good.
No Ireland in there, though?
I didn't mention it, but I feel like sometimes news sites will just include Ireland in the UK.
Do they?
I think they do sometimes. Well, this might shock you, Connor, but I don't think a lot of Americans know that Ireland's not part of the UK.
That's.
I've heard Americans have this revelation, finding out that all of Ireland is not part of the UK.
Okay, if you're an American who didn't know this, please go and read a history book, because like 30 years ago, this was a huge deal.
I mean, I don't even know a whole lot about it, honestly, myself. I know they're separate.
Yeah, you're not familiar with the troubles and.
I'm familiar with the NRA, but I never studied this in school.
Well, nor did I, but I mean, I went to school in England. We're not going to teach it.
Yeah, but this is the thing, though. I never even did Scottish history in school.
I think, to be honest, it's too recent to be taught in schools. But in terms of history lessons,
maybe getting them now. In our day, sure.
Yeah,
but maybe now. I did history all through most of high school, and pretty much I did basically the birth of Germany through to World War One, and then the rise of Hitler and the Nazis, and then the Cold War. Like that was most of the topics I covered in history. So, like people hear, you got a good grade in history in school, and they'll start asking me questions about things, and I'm like, I never studied any of these topics.
I know shit. Yeah, no, this is much more like recent. I mean, the Good Friday Agreement was only.
Let's not get into this.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, that's how recent it is.
Yeah, I just you'd be surprised how many people outside the UK and Ireland don't actually know that Ireland is a separate country.
Oh man, Ireland would be so offended.
I shouldn't use the word country because I don't really consider the UK a country, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Separate body, governmental body. Where was I?
I don't know, but I'm stopping myself going into talking about the devolved governments.
Yeah, we're not talking about it. Next up, Oscar winners Mira Sorvino and Richard Dreyfuss are set to star in Reckoning, a Dark Castle entertainment crime thriller written and directed by Adam Lispis. The indie centres on Ben Myers, played by Dreyfuss, a temperamental, take-no-prisoners tough guy with a terrifying dark side who, despite suffering from leukemia while nursing his dementia-ridden wife, that guy's having a bad couple of months, decides to seek revenge on the thieves who have destroyed his life. Sorvino will play police detective Nick Wallace, Ben's somewhat estranged daughter, who rebukes his attempts to buy her affections. So this is an old man action movie because because Dreyfuss is obviously an old dude. So
yeah.
This is a old man action movie, revenge style.
Yeah, I think it was very telling where they called it crime thriller and not action.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be less to do with action set pieces and more just stand and shoot kind of things when the time calls for it.
Yeah, when it finally happens.
I mean, the cynical part of me is going, oh, Dreyfuss wants some of that Liam Neeson money. He's like, he can do it. Why can't I do it in my 60s?
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, that sounds kind of generic, but...
Yeah, I mean, it could be good, but it doesn't appeal to me on premise.
Yeah. Which takes us on to the horror section, which has got one news item in it. And that is principal photography for a horror film is set to begin in spring in Vancouver. It's called Cristina. The Industry Works Studios film is behind this, and filmmaker Christopher Alexander has signed to direct the film. Cristina is the story of a woman plagued since childhood by a demonic entity summoned by her satanic father. As she grows, so did the demon. As she grew, so did the demon, raising hell to back a blood libel order than time. So it's kind of it's a supernatural horror movie, but it feels a little bit different in the sense that it seems like the demon has developed over time, is what I'm getting from that description.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's a demonic possession, but the demon's been there a while and has learnt things.
Yeah, I'm kind of reading that as if the demon was also like a kid as well when it got attached, and then...
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if it is just a straight up, like, she wants rid of the demon, or is there kind of a weird bond between her and the demon because they've kind of grew up together? I don't know.
Could be, yeah.
I'm thinking of ways it could be interesting. It might actually be none of what we just said and just be...
really just generic, yeah.
Just be a really generic demon movie, which, whatever floats your boat, but that'd be less interesting. But that's the news this week. So, Connor's got 6 films he wants to talk about.
Ish. I was at a glance, but yeah, I'll get through pretty quickly. First up, Robin Hood.
Oh god.
Yeah, no, it's not good. It's really not good. But
I told you this. I told you this the second we saw a trailer.
But I kind of enjoyed it. It has the same bad charm that the King Arthur one did. So if you enjoyed that, again, also not a good movie, but if you got enjoyment out of it, you would with this. Just how I feel about it. Although definitively not a good movie. Mm-hmm. Next, I finally got around to watching Overlord.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty great. Yeah, a little bit too long.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty solid. Quite liked it.
Oh, I dug Overlord. Do you know what I think I liked about Overlord is that it wasn't exactly what the trailers were telling me it was. I don't think. Like, it ended up being this kind of like the troops have this plan and they're trying to enact this plan, and they have a little base and they're trying to like from the trailer I got, just like they fall into chaos and it's just like, oh, they're getting chased and one bad thing after the other, and it wasn't that. It had like a different structure than I thought it
would. Yeah, I also was a little bit disappointed in that it never felt like it quite captured the tone from the trailer. Yeah, with the trailer had the song playing, and it was like, okay, we're doing this upbeat, pulpy, fun
Yeah,
thing.
I don't think that's a fault of the movie. I think that's a fault of the marketing.
No, I agree. But that was my expectation going in, so I was disappointed by that.
Mm.
Even though what is there is pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard one to do though, because it's like a very serious B movie, and that's not a complaint. It reminds me not in any type to the content, but of Brawl in Cell Block 99, which was also a very well directed, very tight B movie, but it took itself very seriously and was very enjoyable, is what it was. That Overlord was kind of like that. It was like, even though it's playing with these really B movie concepts, it's taking it very seriously and making it work.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's really solid and well worth watching.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed it. Like, just disappointment based on the market more than anything. So just to be aware of that if you haven't seen it yet. Next, I got around to A Simple Favor, which is it delivers on exactly what the trailer promises.
But confusing and don't know what it is.
No, the final trailer. Once we were like,
sure.
okay, we actually get it now. Like, it's
because there was like 4 trailers with like, what is this movie?
yeah, no, it's the light-hearted Gone Girl.
It's the light-hearted Gone Girl.
It really is,
Okay.
and I don't mean that as a criticism because I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. It's got style to it. If you liked the trailer, the main one that finally told you what was happening in the movie, if you enjoyed that, you'll probably enjoy the movie. It's worth checking out. Next one, little bit of a slightly more controversial opinion. Hereditary. I didn't love it. It's good, but maybe it was just overhyped. It didn't live up to what everyone was saying about it, though. It was solid, but I didn't love it. I think it fell apart in the third act for me.
That's the weakest part of the film. I'll give you that.
It kind of just fell apart, but it's good overall. But
Interesting.
Why?
This is interesting.
Yeah, because I know everyone else seemed to really love this movie, and I just I thought the script could have done with another couple of passes. Would have really helped. What else have I got? Okay, Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a decent movie with a handful of fantastic scenes with a phenomenal lead performance kind of anchoring it throughout. So I would not be upset to see any Best Actor wins for this. It doesn't deserve Best Film. It doesn't. It's very much the nature of when you have the authorized story, it's tame, right? And it plays into that. It feels like you can feel May's influence on it, being like, yeah, okay, let's look back fondly on our friend. Which is kind of just the nature of the beast. If you want to get the actual music and get the rights to it, that's kind of what you have to put up with to get that version. Oh yeah, now you bloody notice. Shambles.
Explain that for the audio people. They didn't know what I just did.
He just dragged my camera across and refocused and centered me.
Not refocused. You're already focused.
I know. I changed word halfway through.
You made it sound worse. You made it sound like you were off center and out of focus. You weren't out of focus. You were never out of focus. That's not.
I know, but that's because I'm controlling that, not you.
You say that as if I'm out of. I'm not out of focus. I'm in focus.
Yeah, you're using autofocus, though, aren't you?
Of course I'm using it. Why would I use autofocus with this camera?
I don't know. I'm just to give you an excuse to you're slacking.
Bloody hell.
But no, it feels like it's safe. It's safe made, but there are some fantastic sequences. The final performance is phenomenal. You mentioned earlier, you've been doing solo reviews. I think you did Searching, right?
I did indeed, yeah.
Yeah. So I watched that last night. It's pretty solid, I thought. I haven't listened to your review because it's 40 minutes, but did you happen to agree?
I like the implication that you do watch stuff that I do if it's like short enough.
I really don't.
You don't. No, you don't.
Really don't.
So No, I thought it was a solid thriller that was a 7 out of 10. I thought some of the revelations in the last act felt a little bit convoluted and forced.
I get that. Yeah.
Um, but typically, John Cho was very good in it, and some of the twists and turns were enjoyable. So.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. Again, this is between the two Unfriended movies and this, the using the computer gimmick, when done well, can feel really natural.
Although this one felt less natural because this one cheated and did a lot of this one zoomed in on things and shit like that. This was like edited.
It was, and it had like cut to CCTV cameras and stuff.
And it also, even just the idea that it cuts through time, because that's something that, because Unfriended 1 and 2, if I recall correctly, were in real time. They just, like, once they started, that was them until the end.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So,
where this is the idea of, no, we can shut the laptop and open it again later and pick up where we were.
This was a bit more, like, people have said, does Unfriended count as found footage? I'd say this one's closer to found footage because it does that. Because it does have cuts, because it does have these little things where it's almost like someone's assembled this into a movie afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Whereas Unfriended, it feels like you're literally just spying someone's computer for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I think Unfriended is better.
I would agree, yeah.
Unfriended 2 is probably not as strong as this. It uses the computer gimmick better, but I think its plot is even more convoluted in the third act. And then final one, you're nearly done, is I watched A Star Is Born. Can you tell I'm trying to fit in some of the stuff for the Oscars next week? I really like this. It's really good. It's performances in particular from both Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga are fantastic. Music's great. It's not a straight up musical it's the sort of musical that you could enjoy, in that it's not we'll just burst into song randomly. There's none of that. It's always
I never thought it was.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just because that's typically the type of musical you hate, right? But this is what, the fourth version of this film now. I've seen one of them. I prefer this one over. I saw the 50s one with Judy Garland. This one I definitely prefer. Could do with tightening on the script though, just a little bit. It feels like unevenly weighted. Like there's these time jumps in the first half where I'm like, oh no, there's moments to be spent there, and then the second half feels a little bit bloated in comparison. Just feels a bit uneven. But it's very good.
Kind of funny how she's up for Best Actress the year that someone's up for Best Actor for Freddie Mercury, because I have to assume the name Lady Gaga is inspired by Radio Gaga.
Oh, it is, yeah.
I have to assume so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I'm in a point now where Lady Gaga is nominated for Best Actress, and I'm like, I wouldn't be annoyed if she won. Like, it's a really good performance.
I don't really care who wins or loses. I've kind of lost all.
No, yeah, but every so often you'd be like, no, come on, that doesn't deserve it. Do you know what I mean? You get that feeling. Like if Bohemian Rhapsody won Best Picture, I'd be like, no, come on, doesn't deserve that. It's good, but it's not that good.
You got really, really regional there for a second.
Did I?
Yeah, you said, you know what I mean. Like, and it's not so much that other places don't say that, but you said it in a really specific way.
Is that regional?
It's very English.
Is it? Oh, I never noticed.
Saying it that way, yeah.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't realise I said it in a specific way.
You did. It was like your accent got stronger for like
half a second.
Yeah, it was weird. Anyway,
that's all of them. You're good now.
Oh, good. All right, that's the end of the movie news show. I've lost all energy to give you a proper outro. So
why bother in this shambles of a show anyway?
If you want more of the shambles,
that was frankly the most professional segment of the entire show.
If you want more of this shambles, head over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. You can support us for as little as $1 per month, and we can keep doing this and other stuff and more of it. You can also get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz. You can buy merchandise at the stores. There's links in the description to both the US and the UK stores. But otherwise, that's us. And you can expect at least one. Actually, the public can expect 2 movie reviews over the next week from me and Connor. And then Patreon can expect probably 2, assuming nothing gets pushed back. But we're planning on 2 more recordings this week. So. Hopefully those both get done, but we shall not reveal what they are, just in case they get pushed. But there you go. So that has been the movie news. So thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching movies, guys, and we will see you next time.